Hello. I'd like to introduce you to Dr Bach, who, not here, but so that you would know more about his background, because I think that's important actually. But Dr Bach was a proper doctor. He was a well-known bacteriologist and a homeopath as well, and he had a successful Harley Street practice. And his researches led him to produce a series of oral vaccines that are still used today, homeopathically. And his work was acclaimed at the time, but he wasn't satisfied, and he wanted to replace the vaccines with plant material. He didn't feel that you should poison someone to make them better. He also saw, when he went to the hospital, that there'd be two people with the same condition, and one would get better and one wouldn't. And he was more interested in the person than the disease, because he could see that people that were well emotionally got better if they were well balanced. And that meant, he felt, and it's absolutely true, that the body could heal itself if we got rid of some of these negative emotions, which we have. So you might think this is a bit a simplistic idea, because he felt there should be something in nature, and yet there's many homeopathic remedies, orthodox medicine derived from plants, and the Bach Flower Remedies, they hold very special healing properties too. Well, he discovered eventually 38 different remedies, and they actually will treat every possible emotional state. And although there's 38, if you think of colours on a wheel, with all the primary colours and the other colours, they make all the colours of the rainbow and more. And there's somebody who's better at maths than me has worked it out. That means over 2 million combinations because of these, for these 38. There's no scientific explanation about why they work, but in fact, if anybody knows how anaesthetic works, they would get a Nobel Prize, because nobody knows how it works. So the fact that something works, we don't have to always know exactly the fact is that it does. And they're made in a really simple way. Most of them are made with pure water and sunlight, and the blossoms are on there, and the sunlight acts on the water, and this is where the magic happens. So he wanted a system that would be easy to use, and he hoped that by the time he'd finished, that people would be able to help themselves. He didn't see people having to go to somebody for them to help them, but he wanted the public to be able to help themselves. And we used to, at one point, as Bach practitioners, look at people, first of all, for their personality type. My personality type, and if you think, my one is, I'll tell you what my one, I'm impatient, so impatience is mine. Vervain is another one. If you print off the list, you'll see what vervain is. It's not being vain, it's being just a bit hyperactive and burning the midnight oil and trying to do too much. And often therapists actually fit this to a T, because we do work hard. And so it's sometimes we can't decide ourselves what our main personality type is, but you think, what would I like, what quality would I like to have that I haven't got? And that's when I discovered that I would need impatience, because one of the things I'd like is to be more patient. And then you look at somebody's current mental state, say that they're worrying. Most people have got worries, but these are broken down into specific worries. And say it's somebody that just couldn't sleep at night and they kept replaying things over and over in their head. That would be white chestnut, for instance. That would be replaying incidents that you can't stop thinking about that's happened. So it's very specific, actually. So there's not one just for worry or one for anxiety. It really does depend. So the idea of Bach remedies is to support the person's fight against illness by addressing the depression, anxiety, trauma and other emotional factors that could impede physical healing. It can be used preventatively in times of anxiety and stress. And as you are aware, stress causes so many problems, from migraine, eczema, IBS, through to heart attacks and everything that we could think of, that they are now realising, they being the medical community and therapists alike, that this is the cause of many problems. So I'm going to go through some specific conditions and have like little lessons on here, and so that they'll be quite short. I just wanted to reassure you of one thing: they're 100% safe and natural. They're safe to use during pregnancy. Babies can use them, animals, and you can use them on plants. Yeah, if you're moving a plant from one place to another, they get shock, so that you can use them on plants. They don't have side effects. They can be used with, people could be using this much medication and it wouldn't interact with them, it wouldn't interfere. So Dr Bach worked for the first 3 decades of the last century, and today our lives are very different. We've got things that weren't happening then happening today, but what we're worried about family is still the same. Worrying about getting cholera is the same as worrying that came out like 20 years ago. People worried about AIDS or worried about other things now, cancer for instance. So the things that it's still a health worry. So it's still current today. He felt it was the medicine of the future, and I certainly think it's something that everybody should know about. And my 2 daughters, they've done the level 1 courses for this and got the whole pack, so that they can use it for their families. Because I didn't want to be the one that they called to say, oh, what should we do? Because really you want to be able to do it on your own, and they do, and they use it for their family. And so I hope you will learn along, and you will be able to use it for yourself and your family. And let me know how you go with it.